$1 million can buy you a private jet. So can 100 million. But here's the question that keeps aviation enthusiasts awake at night. What exactly are you getting for that extra $99 million? Welcome back to Luxury Aloft, where we explore the extraordinary world of private aviation. Today, we're taking you inside two very different flying experiences. One that costs about the same as a nice house in suburbia, and another that rivals the GDP of a small island nation. The difference isn't just about leather seats versus gold-plated fixtures. It's about engineering, capability, and yes, a certain level of exclusivity that money, serious money, can buy. By the end of this journey, you'll understand exactly where those extra millions go and why some people wouldn't dream of flying any other way. Let's start at the entry point. $1 million in the private jet world typically gets you a pre-owned light jet from the early 2000s. We're talking about aircraft like the Cessna Citation CJ2 or perhaps a Learjet 31. These aren't toys, these are serious machines with genuine pedigree. A Citation CJ2, for instance, can carry 6 to 7 passengers comfortably. It cruises at around 420 knots. That's roughly 480 miles per hour. The range? About 1,500 nautical miles, which translates to flights from New York to Miami or Los Angeles to Denver without refueling. That's real utility for regional business travel. The cabin is compact. We're talking about 4.5 feet of headroom and a width of just under 5 feet. You can stand up if you're not exceptionally tall, but you're not hosting a cocktail party back there. The furnishings are functional. Leather seats, small tables, basic entertainment systems. Think of it as business class on a commercial airliner, but with the profound advantage of privacy and schedule flexibility. Here's what often surprises people: the operating costs. That $1 million jet will run you somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 per flight hour when you factor in fuel, maintenance, crew salaries, insurance, and hangar fees. If you're flying 200 hours annually, about average for an owner-operator, you're looking at $300,000 to $400,000 per year just to keep it in the air. The engines on these light jets are typically Williams FJ44s or Pratt & Whitney Canada turbofans, producing around 2,300 pounds of thrust each. They're reliable workhorses, but they're not built for crossing oceans. Your maximum altitude caps out at about 45,000 feet, and weather can be a genuine constraint. You're working within the limits of weight, fuel capacity, and range. And let's talk about the cockpit. In a $1 million jet, you're likely looking at older avionics, perhaps Honeywell or Rockwell Collins systems from 15 or 20 years ago. They work perfectly well, but they lack the intuitive touchscreens and sophisticated weather radar you'll find in newer aircraft. Your pilots, and yes, you'll need 2 qualified pilots for most operations, are doing more manual work. Before we leap to 100 million, let's acknowledge the vast middle ground. Between $5 and $20 million, you enter the realm of the super mid-size and large cabin jets. Aircraft like the Gulfstream G280, Bombardier Challenger 350, or Dassault Falcon 2000. Here, the game changes considerably. You're now talking about transcontinental range, 3,500 to 4,000 nautical miles. New York to Los Angeles becomes effortless. You could even reach Europe from the East Coast, though you'd be pushing the envelope. The cabins grow significantly. You're looking at 6 feet of headroom and 6 feet of width, real standing room, the ability to move around comfortably, seating for 8 to 12 passengers in configurations that include fully berthing seats, dedicated work areas, and proper galleys. The lavatories go from cramped closets to actual washrooms with running water and decent lighting. The technology improves dramatically. Modern glass cockpits with synthetic vision systems that essentially give pilots X-ray vision through clouds and darkness. Enhanced weather radar, satellite communications, Wi-Fi that actually works at 41,000 feet. Your flight crew can now navigate with precision that would have seemed like science fiction 2 decades ago. But even at $20 million, you're still making compromises. You're not crossing the Pacific, you're not landing at every airport in the world, and the level of customization, the bespoke interior design, the rare materials, the truly personalized experience remains out of reach. Before we climb into the rarefied world of the $100 million jet and discover what absolute luxury in the sky truly means, I want to take just a moment. If you're finding this deep dive into private aviation fascinating, please consider subscribing to Luxury Aloft. We bring you these detailed explorations of the world's most extraordinary aircraft, yachts, and luxury experiences every week. Your subscription helps us continue creating this content, and it ensures you never miss an episode. Now, let's talk about what $100 million actually buys you at altitude. When you write a check with 8 zeros behind it for an aircraft, you're not just buying transportation. You're commissioning a flying palace, engineered to specifications that push the absolute boundaries of what's possible in aviation. Let's be specific. $100 million today gets you into territory occupied by aircraft like the Gulfstream G700, Bombardier Global 7500, or a custom-configured Boeing business jet, essentially a Boeing 737 or 787 Dreamliner stripped down and rebuilt as a private residence. The Gulfstream G700, which entered service in 2022, represents the current pinnacle of purpose-built business aviation. The price tag? $75 million for a standard configuration, but by the time you're finished with custom interiors, avionics upgrades, and special equipment, you're comfortably over $100 million. What does that money buy? Let's start with range. The G700 can fly 7,500 nautical miles without refueling. That's New York to Tokyo, Los Angeles to Sydney, London to Buenos Aires. You're talking about connecting virtually any 2 cities on Earth with at most 1 fuel stop. The implications are staggering. Your meeting in Singapore doesn't require a commercial connection and a 16-hour ordeal. You leave when you want, arrive refreshed, and return on your schedule. The cabin is where things become genuinely extraordinary. We're talking about 2,500 square feet of interior space on something like a BBJ 787. On the G700, you have 2,550 cubic feet of cabin volume spread across 5 living areas. Not sections, not zones, living areas. Picture this, a master suite with a queen-size bed, not a seat that converts, but an actual bed with a memory foam mattress, Egyptian cotton sheets, and blackout shades. An ensuite bathroom with a full shower, not a cramped stall, but a shower you can actually move around in, with heated floors and rainfall shower heads. Some configurations include marble countertops and gold-plated fixtures, though the truly sophisticated owners opt for more subtle materials like teak, walnut, and brushed titanium. The engineering marvel. But the real difference, the fundamental distinction that justifies those additional $99 million, lies in the engineering. The engines on a G700 are Rolls-Royce Pearl 700 turbofans, each producing 18,250 pounds of thrust. That's 8 times the power of the engines on our $1 million Citation. These aren't just more powerful, they're monumentally more efficient, using advanced materials and aerodynamics to burn less fuel while generating more thrust. The wings tell an equally impressive story. Gulfstream's high-speed wing design incorporates decades of aerodynamic research. The result? A maximum operating speed of Mach 0.925, just 7% below the speed of sound. You're shaving hours off long-distance flights compared to slower aircraft. Time, after all, is the one commodity the ultra-wealthy cannot manufacture. The pressurization system maintains a cabin altitude of just 3,900 feet, even when you're cruising at 51,000 feet, higher than almost any commercial airliner can reach. Why does this matter? At that cabin altitude, your body experiences less fatigue, less dehydration, better mental clarity. You arrive at your destination feeling like you've taken a short domestic flight, not crossed an ocean. The air itself is different. Advanced FWEPA filtration systems replace the cabin air completely every 2 to 3 minutes. Plasma ionization systems eliminate 99.9% of airborne pathogens. The humidity control systems, something completely absent in our million-dollar jet, maintain optimal moisture levels, preventing the dry eye and parched throat sensation that plagues commercial travelers. Let's talk about what happens before and after you're in the air, because this is where the $100 million experience truly differentiates itself. With a $1 million jet, you're typically working with contract pilots, shared hangars, and standard FBO, fixed base operator, terminals. You show up maybe 30 minutes before departure, walk through a modest lounge, and board your aircraft parked on a general aviation ramp alongside dozens of other planes. With a $100 million aircraft, you have a dedicated flight crew, captain, first officer, and typically 2 flight attendants who work exclusively for you. They know your preferences, how you take your coffee, what temperature you prefer the cabin, whether you like to work in silence or with specific music playing. These aren't strangers reading from a script. They're trained professionals who spent months learning your routine. The flight attendants on ultra-long-range jets often have culinary training from institutions like Le Cordon Bleu. That meal service isn't catered from a local restaurant and reheated in a microwave. It's prepared fresh on board in a galley that would make some restaurant kitchens envious. We're talking about sous vide equipment, convection ovens, and wine cellars stocked with bottles that individually cost more than the hourly operating rate of that $1 million citation. Your aircraft sits in a private hangar maintained by a dedicated team of aviation technicians who inspect and service it continuously. The maintenance schedule on a $100 million jet is obsessive. Every flight hour generates 3 to 4 hours of maintenance work. Components are replaced before they show wear, not after. The safety margins are extraordinary. Here's something most people never consider. A $100 million jet comes with global infrastructure. That G700 can land at over 90% of the world's airports, including challenging destinations like Aspen, Colorado at high altitude, London City Airport with its steep approach, or remote airstrips in places like St. Bart's in the Caribbean. The avionics include synthetic vision systems, enhanced vision systems using infrared cameras, and heads-up displays that project critical flight information onto the windscreen. The range and capability mean you're not limited to major airports. Need to get to a business meeting in the Scottish Highlands? Your jet can land at Inverness. Skiing in the Swiss Alps? You're going directly to Sumaden. The world doesn't funnel you through hub airports, it opens up completely. And then there's the matter of global support. Gulfstream, Bombardier, and Boeing maintain service centers around the world, staffed with factory-trained technicians. If something needs attention in Dubai, Singapore, or Sao Paulo, you're not scrambling to find qualified mechanics. The manufacturer's support team is already there. Let's discuss something that distinguishes the ultra-premium tier: the spoke design. That $1 million citation came with beige leather and wood grain laminate. The manufacturer offered perhaps 3 interior color schemes. You bought it as is. The $100 million jet is a blank canvas. You're working with interior design firms that typically create luxury yachts and penthouses. Names like Winch Design, Alberto Pinto, or Pierre Jean Design Studio. These aren't aircraft interiors, they're residential spaces that happen to fly. The materials are exotic: Makassar ebony from Indonesia, Amboina burl from Southeast Asia, Italian leather from specific tanneries in Tuscany that have operated since the Renaissance. The metals might be rose gold, brushed bronze, or palladium. The stone in the bathroom could be Calacatta marble from the same quarries that supplied Michelangelo. Every detail is considered. The lighting design alone might involve 6 months of development, with engineers creating custom LED systems that adjust color temperature and intensity automatically based on time of day and flight phase. The acoustic engineering ensures cabin noise levels of 50 decibels or less, quieter than most luxury hotel rooms. Some owners commission master suites with private offices, conference rooms with video conferencing systems that rival corporate boardrooms, or wellness areas with equipment for meditation and yoga. The Boeing business jets can include grand pianos, art galleries, or even medical suites equipped for minor surgical procedures. Now let's address the practical side, because these numbers are staggering. That $100 million jet costs approximately $3 to $4 million annually to operate if you're flying 400 hours per year, typical for an ultra-high net worth individual or corporation. That's $10,000 per flight hour or more. But here's the crucial insight. For the individuals and organizations operating at this level, the calculation is entirely different. If you're a CEO whose time is worth $50,000 per hour, and yes, there are executives and entrepreneurs who generate that level of value, then saving 10 hours on a transcontinental journey is worth $500,000 in productivity alone. If you're conducting sensitive business negotiations, the security and privacy of your own aircraft is invaluable. No risk of conversations being overheard, no concern about who's sitting 3 rows behind you on a commercial flight. Your competitive intelligence remains secure. For families, especially those with complex schedules across multiple continents, the flexibility is transformative. You're not building your life around airline schedules. The aircraft adapts to your needs. Your daughter's graduation in London, your son's wedding in Hong Kong, your board meeting in New York, the plane makes it possible to be present for all of them. So where is private aviation going? Because at the $100 million level, you're not just buying today's technology, you're investing in tomorrow's. The next generation of ultra-long-range jets is already in development. We're talking about supersonic business jets that could cut flight times in half. Boom Supersonic is developing the Overture, targeting speeds of Mach 2.2, New York to London in 3.5 hours. The projected price, $200 million and climbing. Electric and hydrogen propulsion systems are coming, though they're decades away from being viable for long-range applications. But for regional jets, the successors to our million-dollar Citation, electric power could dramatically reduce operating costs while eliminating carbon emissions. The interiors are becoming smarter. We're seeing AI-powered systems that learn passenger preferences and adjust lighting, temperature, entertainment, and even meal suggestions automatically. Virtual reality systems for entertainment and business applications. Holographic displays for video conferencing that create the illusion of people being physically present in the cabin. So here's the answer to our original question. What's the real difference between a $1 million jet and a $100 million jet? At the most basic level, it's about capability. The expensive aircraft goes farther, faster, higher, and with more passengers. It accesses more airports and operates in more challenging conditions. It's simply more capable. But capability is just the foundation. The real difference is about freedom. Freedom from schedules, from compromises, from the limitations that constrain most travelers. It's about experiencing flight not as an ordeal to be endured, but as an extension of your living space, a seamless continuation of your life that happens to occur at 51,000 feet, traveling at 90% the speed of sound. It's about arriving at the most important meetings of your life refreshed rather than exhausted. It's about being present for the moments that matter to your family. It's about conducting business with absolute privacy and security. It's about experiencing materials, craftsmanship, and design that represent the absolute pinnacle of human achievement in aviation. Is it worth $99 million more? For most people, obviously not. The $1 million jet, perhaps even fractional ownership or jet cards, serves their needs perfectly well. But for those operating at the highest levels of business, diplomacy, or personal wealth, where time is genuinely irreplaceable and where the cost of compromise exceeds the cost of perfection, the $100 million jet isn't an extravagance, it's an essential tool. Thank you for joining us on Luxury Aloft for this exploration into the stratospheric world of ultra-premium private aviation. Whether you're dreaming of your first jet card purchase or considering upgrading your current aircraft, understanding these differences helps illuminate what's possible when engineering meets luxury at altitude. Here's my question for you. If money were no object, would you choose maximum capability with something like the Gulfstream G700, or would you go even further and commission a custom Boeing 787 Dreamliner as a flying mansion? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and your perspectives always add fascinating dimensions to these discussions. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon, and remember, the sky isn't the limit when you're already above it. Safe travels.